What's up, navigators? I am so excited for today's video because we are going to be unboxing a brand new toy, and I get so happy to figure out some new things. So I'm actually a huge fan of Hohem. I have some of their other stuff. So this was the very first gimbal that I got from them. This is the iSteady Multi. So with this gimbal, with my vlogging camera and my cell phone, so it has attachments for my cell phone as well. But as we can tell, it gets a little bit heavy, it's a little bit bigger. So a couple of months ago, Hohem actually sent me this little dude, which is perfect if you are a vlogger, and I actually have a full video on it right here. So if you want to see how this one works, you can go ahead and check that out. But today we're gonna be unboxing the iSteady Mobile. So this is kind of like an in-between the multi that I had that's really big and then the more compact one, which is more of like a selfie stick. And it gives you a little bit more features than this one as well. But again, it's perfect if you are just a phone or mobile vlogger. So I have no idea how this works yet. It is brand new. So we're gonna be unboxing it, kind of seeing what's inside, what's included, going through a first impressions to see some of the functionalities of it, and kind of give you my thoughts between all three and where I figure it's best, depending on what type of content creator you are. All right, I'm going to shimmy this table around so I have more surface to work with. So first is, I have a really hard time opening these. But it was kind of torn, so thank you. I'm just gonna throw that over there. I'll clean it up later. Okay, so first things first is this video is not sponsored. And when I said the first thing I ever got was, this was purchased for me as a Christmas present or something. So I've been a fan before they started sending me stuff for free, but they did gift me this one because I am a huge fan and they wanted to kind of see my first impressions of their newer things. So thank you so much for doing that. Right away, I love their packaging on everything. It's super sturdy, super slick, and it comes with a little case. So we can see side by side the difference in size between the multi and just the mobile. This is obviously going to be a little bit smaller because it doesn't have as many parts. But I do love their carrying cases, and I actually have a vlogging backpack. So these cases kind of fit in there just fine as well. So I don't have to worry about disassembling everything. I can keep everything really nice and organized. So let's move this to, I don't want to break that. Okay, so opening it up, this is what it looks like. Again, they do really good with their packaging. So it does come with the instructions, and it also comes with a warranty card. So if you guys do not take advantage of these, I highly recommend doing that, especially because these can be pricey. Although Hohem is very budget friendly, it's still good to take advantage of warranties when you're able to. I also realized it would help if I had my cell phone. So first things first, we're taking out, this is the gimbal, and if you're wondering why it wobbles like that, it's because it's supposed to. So what's really cool and neat about this one is this gimbal, although compact and really easy to use if you're travel, again, if you're a phone blogger, it limits how it moves, right? So it moves this way, and then this completely turns. With this one, it gives you 360 full range motion. So you can definitely work with transitions a little bit better. You can get more creative when it comes to filming, and you don't have to do as much in post or editing. So one of the reasons why I really love it. Also too, when you're walking, even though this looks like it's moving, what it's doing is it's balancing to make sure that your image always stays still. And so you could be running, and when you go to play it back in editing, it's literally a still image and you can't even tell you're running. So it's so cool. If you guys do not know the importance of getting gimbals or why you need one, there's just a major difference between holding your phone and walking while you vlog and vlogging with a gimbal. Even if you're moving and everything else, even if you have the steadiest hand in the world, you cannot get image quality like you can with a gimbal. All right, and then just to clarify some features, it is a 3-axis, which means it moves on 3 points. So we have this is one, then you have this one, and then this is another one. So for the roll, it is 320 degrees. For the tilt, which you have the tilt here, this is going to be 320 degrees, and then the pan is going to be 600 degrees. And then you do have some dials right here too that will help you assist when it comes to moving your gimbal, which we'll go over in just a second. All right, so moving off to the side, you're going to see a little port right here. So this is the charging port. So you do have the smartphone charging port, which is a USB, and then you have a micro USB port for the gimbal charging, and then it does come with the actual charger as well. So it does say to fully charge before use. And then something else that comes in the kit as well is going to be the stand, and this can be used just like right underneath here, which is very helpful if you are vlogging by yourself, because you can set this up on like a table or any type of flat surface, and again, keep a really balanced frame to make sure that your image quality is just a little bit more high quality. All right, so I did charge the gimbal. It took about an hour for the gimbal to charge, and I did use a wall mount to do this. If you are trying to charge the gimbal using like your computer or laptop, it will take a little bit longer just because the power source isn't as strong. But now that you have it charged, you wanna make sure you're putting the phone into the gimbal first. And again, you wanna make sure that the camera is not being obstructed by any part of the gimbal. So the best way to do that is the charging port is going to touch the tilt. And again, this part is spring loaded. So I will just put this in here, go ahead and push it all the way down. And then it will kind of just flop over like this. That is completely normal. It's not going to be balanced right away because the gimbal is not on. Once you hit the power button, which is the red button on the bottom right here, you can go ahead and hold this on, and you'll notice that the motors start to go on, and then it'll start to adjust. So I have already adjusted to make sure it's balanced. If it's new out of the box, it's probably going to be unbalanced, and that's because this part is going to be pushed all the way in. So if this is what your phone looks like after it comes on, you definitely want to make sure you're rebalancing it, because the gimbal will not work correctly while the phone is unbalanced. Also, the gimbal will just kind of give up on itself because there's motors in there trying to keep everything straight. And when it's not straight, and it's not straight for a long period of time, you'll notice that it kind of just looks like a power down and it flops like that. If that happens, then all you need to do is touch the power button again. Again, the green lights will show that it's on. So it may look weird to you that the power is on, but it flopped like that. It just means it's not balanced. So from there, you're going to take the knob in the back where it says lock, go ahead and twist it till it unlocks, pull out the arm, and then lock it again. I already know that mine goes all the way out. Again, this is going to different depending on the weight and size of your phone. So you may just have to adjust it a little bit at a time, but typically pulling all the way out will help balance out everything, and then it's going to avoid that flop over effect. All right, once your phone is in the gimbal and it is balanced, this is where you can move on to the functionality of the handle here. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this just so it's not out. The top button, it's the biggest button. This is going to control two of your axes. So the first one, if you go up or down, is going to control the roll. So you'll notice that the phone is rolling. So that is what up and down does on that round button there. If you go left or right, this is going to control the axis going left or right. It's going to spin all the way around. This is that 600-degree spin right there. If you have been messing with your axis for a while and you're like, I'm trying to get it centered again, there is a little trigger button on the back. All you need to do is tap it twice, and it should recenter your phone for you without you having to like adjust it, especially if you've spun it all the way around. All right, right below that, you also will notice a mode button, and then there's going to be 4 options here for you. So the first one is going to be a pan follow. So if you're wanting, like you're panning and you want it to follow you, you're gonna go ahead and hit that button once. This is going to be the default mode though, so if you're just turning it on, you shouldn't need to adjust it if like that's the one that you want. So what this does is it locks the tilt and roll axis, and so this way you can film and it's not going to move, and it's just basically going to follow you wherever you go and keep a really nice steady like flow and look to your footage. All right, so if you're looking to lock the roll and you basically want the camera to move left and right or up and down, you're gonna wanna touch that twice, and then you should see the mode light flash twice. And so this is gonna give you a little bit more range when you're filming. You'll notice that it's a little bit more loose It's able to roll around, and this is really good for transitions where you're not just talking in person, you're trying to do some like effect or like work around an object. All right, if you want to lock all 3 axes, what you would do is tap this 3 times. You're gonna notice that it's going to adjust a little bit, and then you should see the mode light flash 3 times. This is going to lock everything. And again, this is really good for if you are just filming or if you wanna do stationary. So if this is where you want to make sure it doesn't move, you're gonna just lock everything because you don't need the axis to work for you. Now, if you touch it 4 times, the light should flick 4 times, and this is going to unlock everything and give you full range of motion of the gimbal. Again, this is good for like if you're running this way, you know, as you're like moving, this can fully move with you and make sure that it stays stable. Again, just because the camera looks like it's moving or your phone looks like it's moving, the purpose of it moving is so that the footage actually stays still. And so the motors in there are just making sure that everything stays balanced. So this way, when you put it into editing, everything looks clean, no matter how much you're moving around or anything else like that. Or again, if you need to move around any type of object and you just want that free range, unlocking all axes would be a really good idea for you. Now, if you feel like this is not balanced, even after you've messed with the tilt here or like the balance lock and you're just like something is off, you can long hold that same button and it should recalibrate everything for you. And again, so that's what it's doing right now. This should only be used when you notice that something is off. If it is not off, I would highly recommend not touching that button because you could confuse the weight and balance the motors to your phone. If you feel like you just need to make it centered, always double tap first to make sure that everything goes back to center before you try to recalibrate everything. Now, the last part in here, you're going to see basically a zoom functionality. This works with the app. So there is an accompanying app that goes with this. And so when you have the app, you can connect your phone to the app via Bluetooth. And once you have that, you can have full control of like the zoom and camera. So this way you're not messing with the camera functions of your actual phone. You can still use everything here and have control over the app itself. All right, but that is the features and functionalities of this. Something I love is, one, it's simple to use. So again, it's very beginner friendly and it's budget friendly. One thing I will say is I actually like the sturdiness of this phone holder a little bit more, but that could possibly be because this phone holder is kind of just like stuck on here. So it feels really good. And there was a note in here that they do recommend that you do not use this with the cover. So I know before I mentioned that you could keep the cover on if you wanted to, but they actually recommend not doing it. And again, it's just because the grips inside the spring-loaded like holder, and there's grips at the bottom here, it grips onto your phone a little bit better if you don't have the cover on. And of course, covers make everything super bulky, so it may not be sitting in the gimbal right away. So if you are running or doing a lot of movements, it could possibly flip out. So you definitely don't want that to happen. So just always make sure that it's sturdy. And again, just make sure that you turn off the gimbal before you remove your phone, because the motors are working, even though this is super quiet and does not sound like motors, but just make sure everything is off before you put your phone in or out. All right, but if you have any questions on honestly any of these items, let me know. I love them and I was so excited that they sent this to me. So thank you so much, because I am definitely gonna be using this because I'm going back to vlogging. But if you do wanna see just what the smaller one is, again, this one's more of like a selfie stick. I'll go ahead and leave that video for you right there. Let me know any questions I didn't answer for you in the comment section below, and make sure to get out there, make some content, and let's grow together.